the best upgrade that we could possibly make, we took a funnel like that had a hose on it that we got from like some auto parts store, and we drilled a hole in the bottom of our floor and hung this funnel on a hook, and that was our urinal. And so that we didn't have to stop to piss every like few miles, because you're on tour, you need to be hydrated so you can perform well, and it's all about efficiency, so you gotta make as few of stops as possible. So
we're back. What's up? It's Tour Stories.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know what episode this is. Honestly, we pre-record all of these, so this could be episode 4, it could be episode 8. I don't know, but if you're still here, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Tour Stories, brought to you by Sink In. Cabretti, what's going on, buddy?
Well, just living that life in the cold, bitter weather of Pennsylvania. So, how are you in gorgeous LA right now?
It is 75 and sunny and beautiful.
Of course.
I love it so much. It was actually a very frigid night last night. It got to be like 50. And, we were just worried about the structural integrity of the house because of how cold it was, and, hypothermia issues. And it was a scary night, but we survive out here, Yeah,
hypothermia at 50. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, I'm slowly closing in on my 3rd year of living out here, and I did really well for the first 2 years of not becoming a complete and utter wuss when it comes to weather. That's slowly starting to change. I felt myself complaining. I felt it deep in my bones, complaining about 50 degrees, and I realized I'm slowly losing the Pennsylvanian in me bit by bit.
Well, part of that too has to be that you've been out there and not on tour through all the frigid Northeast.
That keeps you grounded. Good cold winter's night in a Walmart parking lot keeps you grounded no matter where you live.
Yep.
But this guy that we had on the podcast today knows all about that. He is from either North Dakota or South Dakota. We decided collectively in this episode that we aren't sure. I don't think he's sure. All the Dakotas are exactly the same. But this man is in a ridiculously sick band called Groans. He also is a producer in South Dakota. He also has the greatest mustache in all of metal music. No contest.
Any music, really.
It's getting there. That's for sure. But Jeremy from Groans joined us today. It was actually just me and Jeremy for this interview. We had a lot of fun talking about the early days of touring in the metal world for him. And I got to grill him about Groans' old tour van, which was one of the most absurd things I've ever seen in my life. We passed them after leaving a festival. We played with them one day in the middle of nowhere, middle America. They were hanging out of the side of the van, screaming at us, feet hanging off the side, windows down, doors open. It looked like a bunch of hooligans in the Scooby-Doo's van, the Mystery Machine. I can't believe I didn't know what the Mystery Machine was right there at first.
Shame on you.
But Groans is a great bunch of guys. It's really cool getting to catch up with Jeremy. Before we get started, don't forget, if you have not done it, subscribe either on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, wherever you are listening to this podcast. Cabretti, where can they find us on the socials?
Everything is at Tour Stories Pod, or follow Sink In Band at Sink In Band. And also, we are now on iHeartRadio. So be sure, if you're listening to your podcast there, to hit the subscribe button on iHeart. So
if you're in the 60 and up demographic and you still listen to iHeartRadio, follow us. All right, let's get to the conversation with Jeremy Schaeffer from Groans. All right, on the podcast today, he is from North Dakota or South Dakota or any of the Dakotas eventually, most
Nobody
likely
cares.
South Dakota. They're both the same. We've just decided that they are the second largest band out of South Dakota. He is the vocalist for a band called Groans, but most people just know him as the best mustache in metalcore. It's Jeremy Schaeffer.
What's up,
What's up,
dude?
buddy? How you doing?
Dude, I'm tired. I can't believe you woke me up for this. This better be good.
This is the early morning show. It is 8 a.m. fresh out of bed here in LA.
Yeah,
Was it? It's 10 a.m. there.
yeah, but let's tell people that I'm an hour earlier than you, so it doesn't sound as bad. I got up at 6 a.m. for this.
Now, what's the morning routine for the mustache?
Get up and I let my cat lick off all the slobber and food from the night before, and then that's about it. Really, I just push her over to the side, get to work, baby.
That's pretty. See, okay, I didn't know you by name the first time I met you on that one summer tour, and I proceeded to forget your name immediately after learning it. So
sounds very common band, dude.
Yeah. So I did.
That's me, totally.
For a good week or 2 weeks in between those dates that we played together. You were known as Mustache Man in the van, and nobody ever bothered to really expand beyond that.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty common. Mustache guy, mustache man. Yeah, that sounds about right, Mr. Mustache.
So
Dad,
so what's going on nowadays with Groans? What are you working on?
Sure. Well, we just dropped a cover song a couple days ago. We did a cover by Deftones. So that is fresh out there. If you need some new music, that's going out there. And then we are finishing writing another EP that we are set to record for, I think, May or something like that.
Right
so
on.
Trying to make the best out of the COVID situation.
And you've been producing a bunch of bands right now while you're at home, right?
Yeah, it's actually been really crazy. It went from, so last year, obviously when COVID hit, literally everything shut down. All the bands I had booked for the most part canceled or postponed, and I didn't have a whole lot of work for the year, and so I just had a lot of downtime. I did a lot of painting. I didn't really have any way to pay my bills, so I did a lot of painting. I was selling paintings, and then it came to November, and all of a sudden, I think everybody got sick of just waiting around doing nothing. And so then all of a sudden, my books just filled up, and I went from the extreme of like having nothing to do, and now I have so much more than I can handle. So it's been crazy. It's been cool, but it's been crazy because it went from one extreme to the other. So yeah, I've just been just swamped, just slammed with studio work the last couple of months. So I've been very busy, but it's been cool. It's been good time. A lot of rad, cool bands in.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. I feel that every band, once we got like a good 4 months into this, we were like, all right, we could like take our time, just kind of isolate ourselves in a little box. It's kind of safe for us anyway, and like let's just figure it out. Like, we've had 5 months to sit and noodle with our guitars and let's make some dumb music.
Yeah, and I think like the fact that like everybody's kind of agreed that touring is most likely going to open up at some point this year. So everybody was like, well, we've had all this time to write. Let's actually make sure we have music to put out once things are back up and running. So I think that's had a part to do with it also.
The question of every episode so far has been who's going to get it right. When do you think we'll be able to actually, like, when I say play shows, I mean real shows. When do you think it's going to happen again?
I think it's going to be different per genre, because for like DIY smaller bands, I think we'll be able to play shows earlier than obviously, because I think when things finally do open up, shows are going to be happening. I think they'll probably have some restrictions on numbers getting started. So I would think that we'll probably be able to start having shows as early as June and July, but I don't think like real tours and stuff like that will open up until I would say September, October. That's kind of my guess.
That's kind of been the consensus in our side too. Um,
Hmm.
we were even talking about like maybe just because genre wise we could pull this off. Like maybe what we start doing is we first start doing like a almost like a fireside sessions tour where we do like
Sure.
outdoor, almost like house shows, like
Yeah.
just
Yep.
acoustic, like just like, hey, this is our welcome back. We're not quite there yet, but like this is a sense of normalcy, and we're gonna go enjoy it. And like kind of like
Yep.
starting out with that, just as this median, which sounds really really fun right about now.
Yeah, I think you could pull that off. Like especially if you do like outdoor events, like if you're playing, obviously you don't have to worry about the cops if you're playing acoustic shows, unless you're playing like the hardest acoustic show ever.
Right.
But yeah, I think you could pull that off pretty well.
We made American Arson do an acoustic show one time, and it was the most hilarious thing I've ever seen in my life.
Awesome.
It was
That's
so
so
great.
cool.
Having him try and figure out the tuning on an acoustic guitar for his stuff was hilarious. And like he was preparing it like the morning of. This was hey, you're doing this tonight. You're out of luck.
That's awesome. That's so freaking cool. We've so many people have been like, dude, you guys should do an acoustic show. It's like, okay, yeah, that's gonna go really well. Like we have those terrible sounding chords, like you'd be playing those, and like we don't have much for singing, so I
It's
just like
just
spoken slam poetry.
just jangly clanking chords just like all the way
Yeah.
across the fretboard.
Dun, dun, wah, dun, dun, wah.
All right, so here's the deal. I know that this episode is going to be good. I knew that you would have so many ridiculous stories the moment that I saw your van and how it is retrofitted for life on tour. The
Yeah,
only
baby.
the only people that would come up with contraptions like you guys have would be people who have really gone through the ringer when it comes to DIY touring. So I need to go back to the early days with you, your first bands on the road. I want to hear about what it took to get to where you are now.
um, Man, how young are we talking? Because
Oh,
I started playing shows like when I was young.
well, I know you're entering the late 50s, so let's go back. Probably to the early 20s sounds about right.
Yeah, I started playing shows. So I was in a really, really terrible band. I can't believe you're making me talk about this. I was in a really terrible band when I was in high school. First band. I was in a band with my brother and my cousins. So just to give you an idea of what we have for musicians around these parts, I had to have my brother and my cousins in a band.
Of
Just
course.
sounds so South Dakota inbred. But I was, dude, I think I was like a freshman or a sophomore when we started this band. Actually, maybe even younger than that. But we were called Soul Fight, and we didn't even spell fight wrong. We spelled it FITE because we were bad to the bone. And
Yeah, it's such a dope name. I'm really hang on.
dudes,
There's been some really, really great early band names on this show so far.
oh
That
yeah.
have really blown my mind. Like people were really creative.
Yeah,
Everybody
dude.
so far has had at least one rendition of the blank 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 name. To blank, if
Yeah.
blank, we blank, are blank.
Oh, dude, I was in a band called Give to the Winds.
Of course, there it is. Everybody's got
Yep.
it.
And then Hour of My Death was the other one. So
When you're running out of syllables, man. So okay, so on this early band with the with the Schaeffer family, the family on wheels. Well, what was that like? Especially coming from South Dakota and just kind of having to go all directions across the Midwest.
yeah, well, it was weird because like we were terrible. I was the vocalist and the drummer. So I had a little Britney Spears head mic thing.
That's amazing.
It was just great. but somehow we would play shows and people would come out and we'd sell merch. It was weird. We were bad. We were really bad. But I mean, it was our first band, and but we were like, yeah, we were all about it. Like we started off just like we used to jam in a barn, and then we started like just playing locally and stuff. And this was back in the early 2000s, or wait, yeah, 2005 or something like that. So this is when the scene was popping, dude. And yeah, it was cool. But we would just we did tour. We bought a van, little crappy van, and I was the youngest in the band, so all the other members actually had real jobs, so they could afford to buy a van and trailer. But I don't know if I have a whole lot of good stories other than we played a lot of really terrible shows to nobody. But somehow we would still play like some decently big shows and people still bought merch and somehow like it worked. But
right.
yeah.
Yeah. I never like one of a major dilemma for me once Sink In started was we would, when you show up at a venue that you haven't been at for a minute and you sell half the merch and half the people show up, as opposed to like this terrible, brutally awful band that you'd come through 2 years ago.
Yep.
You're literally just sitting there in the front of the room, just yelling like, "Hey, no, I don't think you understand. You need to come to this one. That one was garbage,
Yeah.
and you bought $1,000 worth of merch. I can't get a coffee right now." And we are twice the band that we were back then. It's a really frustrating dilemma to have to go through on a random week.
Yeah, man.
So when
pretty crazy.
When did Earth Groans start?
Earth Groans started in 2015. So my last band before that had broken up, and which it wasn't. I was kind of the last man standing in every band that I've pretty much been in. It's always been kind of me as the last man standing, and I'm always been like the one that's dedicated to like, yeah, let's freaking tour, let's do this thing, and so Give to the Winds was the last band that was actually somewhat decent. We were like a early metalcore band, like Veil Maya, Del Wears Prada, and we were okay. We toured quite a bit, but that band fell apart. And I was like, well, that's it for me. I'm done touring. That was my last shot. And then, so I decided to go full-time studio after that. And that was in 2012. And then I just did studio for three, maybe 4 years. And while I was doing studio, I was like, I have to play music again. Like I can't. So I started writing a solo project, which is now Earth Groans. But so I started writing this project just because I needed something to do, because I was kind of going crazy because I wasn't playing music. I had been playing music since I was 11. I mean, my first band, whatever, like when I was 15, 16. And so I had been playing music continuously for several years. And then I just all of a sudden wasn't playing music. So I basically just became really stir crazy and I needed to do something. So I wrote our first EP, and then that still wasn't good enough. I was like, now I need to play shows. So I guess I started playing with the idea of actually doing a band again. And so I kind of put a couple feelers out there and things fell into place, members fell into place. And then I was like, well, I'm an old guy. If I'm going to do this again, I'm going to do this for real. I'm going to do everything the right way. And so then I got members in place, and then we just started touring pretty much nonstop after Earth Groans was officially like a band. So
right on. So so with the members that you have now, is everybody pretty heavily toured experienced? Were they, right when they joined Earth Groans, was it kind of this is the all-star team?
Yeah, kind of, sorta. We went through bass players for a bit. But once we found the members in place, then and nobody had really toured except for me before that. But I basically was like, all right, this is what it's going to be like, and if you want to do this, I mean, that's big part of why the people that joined, because they wanted to tour. That's what they wanted to do with their life.
Right.
So
Give me 1 sec.
We went hard.
I'm gonna cut that real quick. I'm gonna turn your camera right. Beautiful. Sorry, I'm usually not the one actually
No, you're fine.
controlling the recording. Just making. I'm literally
You're
stopping
good.
right now just to make sure it's all actually been done right because it's good so far.
Sure.
All right, dope. All clear. I passed.
Party on.
I did it.
All right, dude.
All right.
Trial by fire.
So obviously, I mentioned this van and just how perfect it was for the DIY world. Can you tell a little bit about this rolling missile and why I found it so hilarious?
Yeah. So, the van that you were probably referring to is dead. R.I.P. Yeah.
Rip in peace.
His name was Quakes. And so we man, where to start? We pulled out. So it was a raised roof van. And we pulled out. It had it used to be an old fogey hauler. So it used to have all these individual seats.
Wait, hang on. That is such a South Dakota term. I have no idea what that means.
Fogey? You've never heard old fogey?
Never. Oh, okay.
Really? Okay.
Okay.
I'm
putting
gonna
it together
educate
now.
you.
Yeah, that just blew my mind. I just had a meltdown.
A grandma hauler.
Okay.
So it had had these individual seats with each one of them had seat belts. Couldn't think what a seatbelt was called. Anyway, so
captain's chairs.
Yeah, pretty much. But it had 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I 4 rows. So we took out. There was 2 captain chairs, and then there were I think 4 rows or 3 rows after that of captain chairs. So we pulled out all those, and we built some nice rickety bunk beds in the back, double decker,
of course,
just like Step Brothers. And we threw oh frick, what is the mattress pad? What is the mattress that click clack that folds down?
Oh,
what is that called?
Oh shoot!
You go to college and you buy a.
It's not a Murphy bed, is it?
No, but whatever. One of those big pads. I'll think of it later. It's too early. But anyway, so we throw this old crappy mattress on the top, and then on the bottom we bought. Somebody was throwing away some memory foam mattresses, so we cut that baby down to size and threw that in there. And then we built a little rickety luggage rack out of wood. And then we, on the top, all along the top, we hung laundry bags and cut the slit on the top, hung laundry bags, and we called those our udders. And we would put all of our supplies up there, like medicines and Band-Aids and I don't know, deodorant and gum, whatever we needed, mouthwash, whatever you needed, so you could roll out of bed and not smell like a homeless person. And it had an 8-inch TV or 11-inch TV mounted up there, so we would watch when we'd get to our Walmart, we'd put in a DVD so we could watch some Parks and Rec before we went to bed.
Living big.
Dude, it was freaking like the Marriott on wheels. And then we this was the best upgrade that we could possibly make. We took a funnel that had a hose on it that we got from some auto parts store, and we drilled a hole in the bottom of our floor and hung this funnel on a hook, and that was our urinal. And so that we didn't have to stop to piss every few miles, because you're on tour, you need to be hydrated so you can perform well, and it's all about efficiency, so you gotta make as few of stops as possible. So that was
that's Earth's slogan, just the most hydrated band.
Yeah,
South Dakota's most hydrated band.
Yes. So that was our.
I remember you showed up. I remember you rolled up to us at a gas station after a show that we played together, and you just flung open the side doors and I just saw this entire setup as you guys are like you flung them open while the van was still moving past us.
Yep.
And I just get a glimpse of this entire ridiculous setup, and then somebody just holds up the funnel like as if they're holding up a beer, and literally just,
They're so stoked.
the doors just pass, and as I'm going, somebody's just holding it up like, "Hey, yeah,
You need to take a piss? You need to hit this quick?"
On the roll.
Yeah, dude. We had like
man.
rope lights around the top, and so we had the mood lighting. We called them courtesy lights. It's all about that courtesy.
Getting
Yeah,
a good
we
4 miles
so this
a
is
gallon
really
too.
weird. Somebody had given us. We were down in Texas, and I don't know why, but this dude like handed us a bag of hair, and he's like, "Dude, I shaved my beard off. I wanted to give it to you guys."
What?
And so we had this beard, and we put little like we we put little googly eyes on it. We stapled it to the top of the van, so it was kind of a good luck thing when you're getting out. I had to touch the beard before getting out.
Touch the beard. Oh my god, man!
So and yeah, we toured with that in there for like 3 years.
What? And this one died. You moved on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, I wouldn't say bigger and better things because Quakes was he was a peach. But yeah, we broke 300,000 miles on him, and then we blew on our last tour. We blew a head gasket, and I don't even know how we made it through the tour because we blew a head gasket on the first drive, or like first or second day, and it was a month-long tour.
Oh no.
Yeah, but so we had like antifreeze in our oil and stuff like that, and we just kept adding oil, and there was some like temporary sealant that you could put in, so we did that, and but yeah, by the last day, we did have to skip our very last day of tour because we rolled up to Tulsa, and there was literally like antifreeze was just raining out of the bottom of our van, and we're like, oh gosh, we definitely have to go straight home after this show because our next show was going to be like 10 hours out of the way. The final day of the tour was supposed to be like 10 hours out of the way from where our home was. We were either 9 hours from home or 10 hours to the next destination, and then another like 8 hours from there or something. So we're like, we'll be lucky if we even make it home. So we played the show in Tulsa, and we just bought 2 jugs of antifreeze, maybe even more than that. And then every time we stopped, like every few hours, we'd stop pouring more antifreeze. And we made it home, and that van never lived again. But
So
R.I.P.
I always think, rest in peace, man. I always
Yes.
think bands that have a setup like that obviously know how to make that happen because of all of the incidents that happened beforehand that got them to there. So
Yes.
I want to know what happened in the early days of Earth Groans that made you guys so prepared to live a life like that and have a setup like that, the rolling motorhome.
Yeah, man. Well, you have to be able to sleep well, and we were sleeping in the van like every night. And so we wanted to make sure that we had bunks set up. That had to be in place because if you're always crabby, or if you're not getting good sleep, you can't perform well. You're crabby, you're gonna snap at each other. It's gonna be hard to function. I mean, you already have like 4 other dudes living in your nook. Like tour is just like living in the smallest like little can, and everybody's all up in your nook at all times. So you wanted to at least make sure that everybody had a good place to sleep, lay down. And then, dude, we used to have like the piss jugs. We would have like a gallon, the gallon bottles. We would run a piss jug every like a weekly piss jug. It's like, well, by the end of the week, you had to replace it because it used to smell so bad.
God.
And I was like, dude, what if we had a urinal so that we didn't have to stop? We didn't have to fill up our van with piss jugs. And dude, that was the biggest solve right there, man. After that, we were like kings. We're like, we are road dogs. We used to.
You started.
we
You should have started selling funnels at the merch table, just with no explanation.
Dude.
Just the Earth Groans logo across it.
Yeah, dude. We would. Man, people would be like, dude, you are on too high of level of a road dog, dude. I'm getting a spam call right now.
You're good.
Hold on. And wait, I want to decline. I almost accepted that. And I would have been like, I want to talk to you about your extended warranty of your van Quakes.
Oh, I just talked about how I don't have Zit Nose more.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Where were you at?
Oh, I don't know. People would just, there was one band that we toured with that they were called Sweet Ascent. I don't know if you ever met them or not.
I remember the name.
Yeah, they would just always be like, you guys are just on a way different level. Like, disgusted. You were on a whole, like, we used to dumpster dive all the time. And they're like, you're on a level that I just don't want to be on.
Right. Yeah, I think I sink in, like, once we were that way so much until we got our new van. And like the moment you get a new van, just feels even though it's already 6 years old, it just feels like clean and new.
Sure,
like,
yeah.
It kind of gives you this like life check moment where you're like, all right, I feel like I need to be a normal functioning human being because this is my brand new fancy house and I need to treat it right. I need to change my ways. I think we changed a lot the moment that we got a new van.
Oh yeah. We're on a higher class now. We have to act like it.
That's exactly. I'm paying my HOA fees now for this one. I got to make it worth it.
401ks.
So, excuse me. So I want to know if somebody walked up to you and said, "What's touring like? What's nothing? Does anything bad happen to you? What do you say when somebody asks about the bad things that happen on tour?"
There aren't any bad things that happen on tour. They're all good things. But it is funny because people, when they do hear about what touring is actually like, they're like, "And you enjoy that?" It's always the side of the half tilt. And you enjoy that?
You enjoy sharing that bunk and using a funnel over your 11-inch TV?
Yeah.
You
enjoy you like not showering for a week? You like living out of a backpack?
Just means I have to pay less for my mustache balm.
Dude, yeah, that's right. That's freaking right. That is one hard part. That's probably the hardest part about being on tour is just looking good. It's so hard to look good when you like live in a box that you can't like shower and stuff or so it's.
Do you think that's the real reason why so many bands have tattoos? It's nothing to do with the culture. It's just really because like I can't look good, so I at least have to.
Yeah,
like
that's why I get tattooed. It's like then I don't have to worry about everything else. It's like if it distracts.
Don't look at my face.
Like,
don't look at my face.
I
Look
got
at
out
my
of the van and I got all these colors and like wow, look at those colors. Did you see what was attached on the top? Look at that head, dude. That thing looks like a mess.
No. Don't look here. Don't look here. Look here. Look here.
Yeah, pretty much.
But
what was the question? I don't know if I have a good bad things that happen on tour. I don't think the only thing that you're ever afraid of is getting robbed. That's literally the only, and we've never been robbed. So knock on wood somewhere.
Yeah. We got robbed a few times, but there was one that was significant. And it was in Oakland. I think it was actually on the tour that where I met you. We were in Oakland, California, and I remember it was one of those days where you roll up and you're like, I don't feel comfortable here, which is pretty. It's pretty hard for me. Like this lifestyle kind of just trains you to be comfortable really in any scenario.
Desensitizes you.
Yeah, exactly. But I definitely remember feeling a little uncomfortable with the area that we were at, and the promoter said we were not allowed to park in the front of the venue or behind the venue. We had to park in this separate pay lot.
Okay.
And they were like, yeah, you're gonna have to drop off, throw your hazards on, and then you have to go pay in this lot or go park in this lot. And I'm saying, man, I don't feel comfortable with that. This is like a block away. This is like not, it's not a fenced lot. It's just kind of, you know, those pay and walk away lots. And their comfort to us was, oh, well, you know, we cover your payment for the night though. I'm like, no, I don't think you understand.
So generous.
It's not about paying for this lot. It's the fact that that is a block away.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have to be going back and forth all night freaking out about whether or not everything is safe, because we're in the middle of Oakland, and not being presumptuous, but like, this is a sketchy place that I'm in right now, you know?
Right.
I told the guy that. And they're like, no, like you got no option. You can't use the lot in the back. You have to go out there. So we brought everything in, parked the van and trailer in this lot. I personally did not really bring or leave anything valuable there, but I know Cabretti did, Josh did too. There was just, it ended up actually being a bunch of valuable stuff in the van at that point. And during our set, somebody smashed a window, opened up the side, and went into the van. We right after our set, we were like, this is a terrible show, we want to get out of here. So like, Josh and I went to get the van right away, like as soon as we were done. And when we came around the corner, I saw a bunch of clothes out in the middle of the street beside the parking lot. And we're getting closer, and I'm noticing these are my clothes.
Oh no!
Yeah, and there's a trail like kind of off the side leading up to the van.
Dirty underwear, dirty sock, dirty underwear.
Yeah. And the side door's open and the window is smashed.
Brutal.
Like, oh no! And we go into a dead sprint, and we get there, and the van is completely trashed. Like, it's so trashed, it's like you would have had to work hard to make this much of a mess.
It was already trashed before because you're a band on tour.
Yeah, no, this was something new.
Yeah, there's a lot coming from a band dude saying the van is trashed, because you know when you're on tour that van is never clean.
Exactly. There's like mud footprints all over the benches. They're like crawling over the benches. There's clothes everywhere. Every single bag was pulled open, just flung everywhere.
Dang.
But then underneath the clothes are all of our valuables. They're still there. There's a $1,500 acoustic guitar. There's a Martin sitting there.
Oh my gosh.
There's a Mac. There's a Mac. There's a really nice DSLR camera. Like, all the stuff that we should have brought with us are all sitting right there.
That's so wacky.
They didn't take any of it.
The dude really just needed a clean shirt.
Yeah. No,
he was out of laundry, dude.
I get to the front, and we found out that they stole Cabretti's, like, literally like an iPhone 4. You know, just like a piece of junk, and then they stole our change bag from the front. But they left thousands of dollars of gear.
Dang.
What we figured out, apparently, I can't confirm this, but just, you know, talking to locals, are the van, like, what do you call the owner's manual? The owner's manual was taken from the glove compartment, and apparently it's some sort of gang initiation where, when you're going through initiations, you have to bring back a certain amount of owner's manuals in vehicles, like showing that you can break into vehicles. Yeah, like, it's not a thing of actually trying to steal valuables, because you have to go and do a bunch of cars in one night. So you can't you can't carry around a bunch of guitars, like, you're gonna get caught. You just take the owner's manuals and you just
backpack full of owner manuals.
Right. And so the little iPhone, some change they could throw in their pockets, but they didn't take anything else. He did take some of my nicer clothes. So, like, he threw out some clothes, took a quick phone, and they probably just went to the next car and just kept on doing it, and just took all the owner's manuals.
Dang. Well, did he take a shirt, leave a shirt?
No, of course not. He took, like, my nice bomber, just like the stuff that you value very highly on tour. Like, hey, this is the thing that makes me look half decent when I'm really feeling nervous. But so they left all of that stuff, and we just had to, you know, finish the next drive just with the with an open window the entire time out of the side. But
And you were shirtless.
I was
Bummer.
I was without a shirt. I was in a hoodie and boots because
That was your last clean shirt.
they stole a pair of shoes too, so I was wearing like boots and shorts the rest of the tour. But
Awesome.
we
And boots.
ended up being very, very lucky. But I was so pissed.
Mhm.
There was a band playing after us, and I ran back into the venue. And as soon as their song was done, I ran up on stage and took their microphone. And I don't really know what my game plan was, but I took the microphone. And I was like, just so everybody knows, our van's been broken into. We've been stolen from. So all of our stuff's gone. So thanks.
Drop a beat.
I did, and then I just gave the microphone back to him, and I just walked away. And it just killed the mood of the show, and like that was my goal. I was like, I'm pissed. I want everybody else to share my misery. I'm going to make this show really, really sad for everybody else.
Oh man.
But
wow. Well, luckily that has never happened to us. I'm sorry about your shirt. I'm sorry about the window.
it's all right. I'll let it slide this one time. You owe me a shirt though.
Okay.
But so yeah, I don't really have any like things where I go, if somebody asks me all the bad things that happen on tour, like there's nothing bad. It's more this whole show is not about bad things. It's just about absurdities.
Yeah.
Like
no, I heard definitely that. I mean, living the tour lifestyle is definitely absurd to like 99% of America. So
yeah.
It's
our goal here when we started this was I just want people to enjoy the ridiculousness that we find normal. Because I was never somebody who I didn't really know how to talk about touring to people at home, to the lay person at home, know, and like when I started to, I started to realize like, oh, I didn't think I had anything to tell because I've gotten so used to the ridiculous things that happen to you. Like I completely forget that this lifestyle is not normal at all.
Bonkers.
Yeah. And so that's I just find it fun that like, even in music interview shows, it's kind of it always ends up being fluffed up a little bit because you're trying to inevitably sell yourself as a musician that people want to follow. But like, I don't think people really get to experience the conversations that happen while on the road. Like, without the there's no filter, and I don't know. I just think this is the most unique angle to have. Like, hey, I'm not going to tell you about what it took to make this album. I'm going to tell you how, in order to get to the show that you're seeing us at tonight, I had to pee in a funnel and sleep in a 3-high bunk in a rolling metal tin on wheels.
Yes.
And I didn't get a chance to shower because the last
week.
Yeah, and we got robbed, but they only took my clothes. So here I am in boots and shorts. But there's something endearing about that. At least I think. Or everybody else is just disgusted by every episode that we do, but that's okay.
That's cool. But they keep coming back, so there's something here.
Well, technically, we're recording this when there's only been one episode actually released to the public. So
okay.
Saying that maybe they won't come back. Maybe
that's
by the time we get here, there's actually
good chance that they won't be coming back.
Yeah, but real quick, I do want to know is there a story from the early bands where it kind of was like your initiation into the realization that, oh, this is a wild, weird lifestyle? Like, is there that one
initiation?
Story? Yeah, well, yeah. Is there that one story where
there's this one time in Oakland where I had to break into this dude's van, steal their owner's manual, an iPhone, and some dude's bomber shirt?
No way. That seems really ironic, man. I thought you were South Dakota, man.
I could never break into somebody. I could never do that. That's wild. That's kooky talk. I'm trying to think of initiation. I don't know if I've ever had. I don't know if there was ever initiation. Really,
like more so just like is that moment where you realize like, oh, this is a wild ride, and it's the dividing moment between, oh, I love this, or oh, I can never do this again. You know,
I would say,
for me, there was one, like, for example, there's in one of my early bands, we had to sleep, it was one of the first nights you do the Walmart
yeah,
nap time. And it was so cold in the van because we didn't have heat that I slept under the van with the engine running. And I found that
under the van. It was
found that
warmer under the
yeah,
van.
right, because there was no insulation in this van, so
Right.
so I was warmer being closer to the engine than I was being in the van itself. And
Yeah, I would
that was a
say,
dividing moment for me where, like, I like, one person in that band went, "Oh, I can never do this again," and never toured again. Or you were somebody like me that went, "Oh, I love this. This is ridiculous." Like, that was my initiation into being on the road,
right. I would definitely say sleeping in the van those nights where it was mega mega hot or mega mega cold.
Right.
And like there's just nothing that you can do about it other than just like try and fall asleep and try and get some sleep. I mean, there was one time and we were in Arkansas and it was like 80 degrees out, which isn't that hot, but in Arkansas it was that night it was like 85 or 90% humidity, and there's just like no moving air. So you were just laying there in your underwear, as sprawled out as you can be without touching the person next to you, just trying to be as cool as you can so that you can fall asleep. And there's like just like beads just like running off of your forehead,
Of course.
and every crevice is just swampy, and you just have to fall asleep. And then there's the opposite where it's like -10 and you are bundled up in every piece of clothing that you had underneath, and you're like turtling under your blankets, and like that, and you just all you can smell is yourself because you just reek because you haven't showered for a week, and you're just trying to stay warm so that you can fall asleep.
I think that's the real reason why I moved to LA.
Yeah, I believe it.
I think in my mind, I was like, all right, I can withstand every scenario when I'm on tour, but when I'm home, you better believe I
Right.
want it to be 75 and sunny every
Yeah.
single day of my life.
Yep, that's why I live in South Dakota. I'm still in that conditioning phase. I'm not quite on your level yet. I'm still conditioning myself.
Not ready to go hang from the palm trees every night?
No, still conditioning. It's like -10 here, by the way, today.
It's not here today.
So while you're basking in your heat,
well, the reality is it's so beautiful outside right now that I have to do these shows from the darkest room in the house that's like around the corner and underneath the tree there at that window, so it doesn't seem like I'm just laying here in just palm trees and success. It's not success, it's just palm trees.
Just palm trees.
But all right, dude. So what can people look forward to from Earth Groans? Because I know you guys are going to be coming out with the heavy hitters, with some new music, and I know, dude. Before you answer that, I will say Earth Groans is one of the most fun bands to see live. You guys are so like I don't know how to explain it other than it is an enjoyable experience seeing you guys perform.
Dude, that's awesome. I mean,
that is to me that's like the ultimate compliment, because it's hard to it's hard to be impressed when you're on tour all the time. So I really enjoy just going like, oh, I want to go just enjoy seeing these guys go bananas.
Dude, that's really cool to hear. I mean, like our music is definitely like to most people is just pure noise and annoying and whatever. So I mean, we want it to be an experience. So even if they can't get into the music, they can still like have fun and enjoy like the energy and everything that's brought to the show. We also always just wanted to be like a live band. It's like you can't get the same experience listening on record. You have to be at the show, like in the energy of it all. So I mean, that's what we strive for. So thank you.
You guys write is definitely built for live. Like
yes.
It is one experience to listen to the record, but anybody that's into your style knows like, hey, this was built for a specific experience, and that
Yes.
experience is going and having it just thrown in your face.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
But-
high energy. Going back to your question, I would say, so we've been writing. So we're gonna have some new music coming later this year. When that is gonna be, it'll probably depend on like when touring and stuff like that opens back up. So I don't know, don't have a release date yet. TBD on that. But yeah, we will have some new music for you guys. We'll probably have a few new music videos, stuff like that. Basically everything that we can possibly do in this downtime, we're going to try and do, just to make the best out of it, because once touring opens, we'll probably just tour nonstop. So
dude,
yeah, I guess that's about all I can say is just new record.
dude, thank you so much for coming on.
Mm-hmm.
Again, whenever the world goes back to normal, anybody still listening to this, if you've put up with us this far, please go check out an Earth Groans show live. I can't state it enough. It is so fun. And even if it's a genre that's new to you, if you just kind of let yourself go for the moment and just like, I'm going to take this all in, like it man, that half an hour, that 40 minutes can be a wild ride, and it's something you can take with you for a long time. It's really dope. So, dude,
Awesome,
thank
man.
you so much. Where can they find you online?
Everywhere, all listening platforms, and then you can also check out earthgroans.com. We have pretty much everything on there from lyrics to merch. So
Beautiful.
yeah,
I love it. Jeremy, thank you so
love
much.
you.
Dude. This has been another illustrious, beautiful, inquisitive journey episode of Tour Stories at Tour Stories Pod online at Sink In Band. By the time this comes out, we will probably have 2 new singles out. I don't know which ones. I don't know when this will come out. Whatever music Sink In has out right now, if you're not listening to it immediately following this episode, uses the stupidest one. Thank you so much for listening.
Cool.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Tour Stories, and thank you to Jeremy Schaeffer for hanging out with me today. Don't forget to follow us on all the socials. First off, subscribe if you have not subscribed wherever you are watching or listening to this. What is you doing? Fix it. Cabretti, where can they find us on socials?
As always, at Tour Stories Pod on Instagram, or follow Sink In Band at Sink In Band.
At Stankin Sand,
Stankinsand.
stankinsand.com. See you next time. There.